Sorry, you said the later version.
Your edited version, rather. Which
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
that edited version, as you call it, is actually a quotation that comes not from the God Delusion, that's his most recent book until the new one, but actually he liked that quotation about being devoid of meaning, purpose, and so forth, so much he put it into two of his books. River Out of Eden is one of them, and I actually forget which other one, but I know the quote appears twice. Let me get back to the original question. A pantheist is one who thinks that the objects and elements of nature themselves are spiritual and have spiritual value and are worthy of worship. I'm not a pantheist in any sense. A deist is someone who says that, yeah, there is possibly a God, created the universe, set it in motion, started things running, and since then has been taking a snooze on heaven's front porch and plays no role in human affairs or human events. All Abrahamic theists, Christians, Jews, and Muslims, are non-deists in the sense that it's a central element that God is actively involved in the universe. I'm not a deist in any respect. To me, theologically, the interesting thing is that deism is really a statement about the personality of God when you think about it. Because any deity capable of creating the entire universe would certainly be capable of intervening in it, which seems like but a deist would say he chooses not to. So that's why I say deism is a statement about God's personality. It's not a statement that I would make. I think that God is active and involved, but I don't think that requires the deity to accomplish his own purposes to violate the very rules that he set up. And that is, God exists, and this goes back to Aquinas, God exists outside of nature, is the reason for nature, and therefore when we see something happening according to orderly natural law, we actually see the hand of God at work. I'm not about to say, here's where you find God, or here's where you don't. One of my friends, I'm privileged to make his acquaintance a few years ago, is Father George Coyne, who retired about 2 years ago as the head of the Vatican Observatory. Father Coyne is also a very distinguished physicist, professor at Arizona State University. And knowing he's an astronomer, and he'll show pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope and stuff like that, people are always saying, where, Father Coyne, in your telescope do you see God acting? As if somewhere out there in space you can see God's finger pushing the button on a black hole and something like that. And he's fond of saying, the universe doesn't need God. Now, it surprises the heck out of people to hear that coming from a priest. He says the universe doesn't need God in the sense that God is not so slipshod a creator that he designed a creation where he constantly has to put his finger in the dike, plug things up, and make things work the way they should. He was able to put together a universe that really does work, that really does obey the laws that we investigate through science. And again, the very perfection of the universe, according to Father Coyne, is one of the reasons for his faith in a creator. So I'm perfectly willing to say that if one says, and this is Dawkins' argument, and you summarize it by saying no unnecessary assumptions, if one says that basically I am only going to accept science as my ultimate judge for everything, I'd be very quick to say it is true that you cannot use science to basically prove or disprove the existence of that deity. But to accept that as the terms of the argument is ultimately to say that science is the arbiter of all things. And I think there are certain questions that are really beyond the value, the purview of science to answer. And I would put truth, beauty, love, and the question of God as one of those questions that science can inform us about, but it cannot answer in a definitive way.